I was going to Tosche Station and watch the Star Wars Guys podcast. That was supposed to be Luke Skywalker being one of our fans.
Imagine. Luke
In
Skywalker.
my mind, we're not only a fan of Luke.
No record quote
He's a fan of
this
us.
time.
Well, the record quote could be just him wrestling the croc.
I like blowing stuff up because I like blowing stuff up. I like wrestling this space croc. That's a nice space gator.
It's just so ridiculous.
The record has one every week.
Well, welcome back to the Star Wars Guys podcast. We're excited to dive into some Bad Batch and even talk Acolyte,
Oh,
the new trailer
yeah.
that dropped. We're going to talk all about it. We're excited. So welcome back. As always, we are your hosts, Mike,
Uncle.
Uncle.
Just-
Hello there.
Uncle's not here. He's
Myself,
not
Nate.
feeling well.
Hello there.
I am Mike. I just want to set the record straight. I am not Uncle. I am an
Sure.
uncle, though.
You're an uncle, not
Yes.
the uncle.
Not the uncle.
Someone said, Derpy in the chat says, wait a minute, someone is missing. This is Abomination. I know.
Uncle's
is
away
out.
on
He's
Jedi
sick.
business.
Unfortunately.
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 Unfunchies. I know some of the best.
Acolyte was just
Funchies.
okay on the trailer. Oh, I don't.
We're gonna discuss
We'll
it.
dive in. We'll
we
dive
have not
in.
shared any of our thoughts
We have
either
not.
on
We
camera
have
or
not.
off camera. We haven't talked about it, so we
And-
will get into it.
Apologize for the podcast delay there. We're having some technical issues, so we had to kind of reboot a couple times. But we're up and running, so
We
hopefully
did.
everything is smooth, goes smoothly for this episode. But anyway, speaking of this episode is sponsored by Legion Sabers.
Ooh.
Is your lightsaber a fragile toy? LegionSabers.com sells battle-ready NeoPixel sabers that you can take a beating in style with features like Flash on Clash, Smooth Swing, and Gesture Control. Upgrade your saber today and experience the lightsaber battles your inner child has always dreamt of. But wait, there's more.
Come
This
on.
month only. This is a cool deal. Buy any saber, get a free mystery baselit absolutely free with the code Star Wars Guys.
Hey,
love
I
it.
know them.
Just getting that
I
code Star
know
Wars
them.
Guys. Visit LegionSabers.com today. Again, use the code Star Wars Guys at LegionSabers.com for your battle-ready NeoPixel lightsaber. And if you do, you get a free baselit saber to come with it. So
Sounds like a good deal to me.
I've got a handful of those sabers, and they're great. I love them.
Yeah, they're
I
pretty.
Love them. Legion
There's
Sabers,
a
great
number
company.
of them right off camera right now in the studio.
They've also partnered with Sackcloth and Ashes, who have some Star Wars blankets. I'm sitting on one right now, Tatooine. Good stuff. So get yourself one of those
Love it.
sabers. And if you ever have any questions too regarding the sabers or the company, you can always drop it in the comments and we'll address those. But yeah, we're excited to dive into it.
Yeah. Little Bad Batch, little
we're
Acolyte.
gonna do a little Bad Batch first. We want to review some of that, and then we'll talk Acolyte. But I do want to address the stuff in the chat. So Derpy says, it did enough for me to watch the 2-episode premiere. Okay, yeah. I'll listen.
Talking Acolyte. We'll talk about.
Here's the thing about Star Wars shows: even if there's moments that I maybe disagree with or weren't my favorite, I still watch all of it through.
Oh yeah.
I mean that's just me. I'm a canon guy. I like to know all of the details of everything storyline wise, even if a particular project's not my favorite. I
yeah.
still need to know.
And we don't know. Who knows?
I
This
still
could
need
end
to
up being
know
our favorite.
What's going on?
Yeah.
So-
And this could be our favorite.
It
We
could
don't
be.
know yet.
It could be. We'll see.
I'm also one who has learned from my experience watching the Clone Wars that just because, and I'm not saying Acolyte will start off disappointing to some people. Maybe it will. Who knows? Most shows are disappointing to somebody. So who knows? Maybe it'll be great. Maybe it won't be. But also, I do know that the Clone Wars started off, and I was like, I'm not sure
Started
if
off
I
a little
love
rough
this.
for me,
I'm
but
not
then it
sure.
turned around.
And then all of a sudden, it's some of my favorite Star Wars stuff.
Yeah,
So
some of our favorites.
I would just always advise patience. It doesn't mean you have to love everything. We certainly don't love everything. There are episodes and shows we love more than others. But the Acolyte we will get to. And, again, we've just gotten our first trailer.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. But Bad Batch for this week. Nate, first, overall thoughts? Like it,
Overall
love it,
thoughts?
want some more of it? Just kind of okay? Struggle with it? How'd you feel?
I don't think I struggled with it. I think it was a good episode, but
Yeah.
it was definitely felt like a one-off
Mm-hmm.
episode. Getting Fennec Shand back introduced. But yeah, it wasn't my favorite episode of this season, but it wasn't a bad episode. It was a little side mission. A little side mission took a little for a purpose. They're trying to get the information for Omega about this whole idea of an M count and what's the Empire doing and why are they after Omega specifically. So it has a reason to the main plot, the main storyline, but just the nature of what was going on felt a little one-off, mission, like a little side mission. But that doesn't mean it was bad. It was good, and I love all the stuff with Fennec Shand. I like her dialogue, her character. It's fun seeing her before she ends up kind of becoming a little nicer with Boba and the gang. So it's fun seeing her character a little more.
Well, and when we meet her in Mando, she's still supposed to be ruthless assassin.
Yeah.
Before Boba then saves her, and that's what kind of makes her nicer towards him. Even in this, she has a little bit of charm. She has some charm where you kind of feel like, oh, maybe she's kind of friendly with him, and then she's like,
that's why I don't get in the water.
It's
you are or whatever.
Unless you want to become food, get up here right now.
Yeah.
No, I felt the same way. I liked the episode. I definitely liked it. I liked it for what it was. I think I think Bad Batch has been pretty consistent season after season in the way it tells its story. Every single episode is not going to be some massive canon big reveal episode where it's like 50 different things are flying at you and you're like, well,
and we
I didn't
have
know this
had
person,
that
this
in
person.
some
We have
episodes.
those. But not every episode has to be like that. This is an episode where I kind of felt like we've had some big episodes, especially the last few, where this is kind of a catching your breath episode. Not that it's just like not going anywhere, because I think there's a lot of good emotional beats, especially the ending with Crosshair and Omega, and her getting him to kind of let this guard down a little bit, and
realizing some of it could be mental.
Yeah, exactly.
All of it.
So that's a big step forward for him. Definitely, we love seeing Fennec back whenever you
What
get a chance
happened
to get.
with him being tested on and stuff that made him like this? They keep teasing that there's things he's not sharing. And
you got to remember, he was there before even Omega.
Know.
So we
they
don't know.
They keep teasing that there's stuff that he's not sharing, and it seems like it's coming to like whatever they tried to break. However, they tried to break these clones to become like the shadow clones or whatever they called them. Whatever they did to try and break them and
it doesn't appear
test
to
on
be
them.
Nice. I don't think that the clones are appreciating it.
No, I mean the other ones are totally brainwashed, basically.
Yeah. So it's clearly he's got trauma by it, or he's affected. He's definitely dealing with stuff internally.
It's not in my head.
My bad knife.
Chip and shatter.
We went a little Fade Routh on there. For all of you who watched Dune Part 2, to be precise, for doing that quote. So yeah, I really did. I liked it, and it's kind of what I would say I expected for like an episode 8 of the season. What I mean is, we've kind of talked about this before. Not that you can predict when things happen, but as you get kind of a show starts and establishes the plot of the season, big characters are introduced. They go off and they separate from our villains for a little bit, and then they go on a journey. And sometimes the journey feels like it's full steam ahead, and then sometimes, just like Mando, you might land on a planet with ice spiders. You might land on
it pulls back.
These are not wasted episodes. They're good episodes because just like that episode, and just like that episode, sometimes the moving the plot or moving the show forward is not always plot point A to plot point B. Sometimes it's emotional beat A to emotional beat B, meaning our characters are growing, or they're like, even there's some reference of Tech in this, and about how he used to be
he was the brains.
He was the brains, and kind of feels like us today with that uncle. Maybe Uncle's our Tech.
Uncle is our Tech, and a lot more.
Yeah, he's a lot more. Well, that might be an insult to Tech. I think Tech's a lot more too.
Well,
No, I'm not saying Tech's a lot more than Uncle.
Easy.
He's an animated character. But I'm saying I think Tech was
Big part of the group.
Tech was a big part of the group. He was a big part of also the
I miss Tech.
I know Tech was also a big part of the lightheartedness of the show and the group. If you notice, now there was a joke. There's not been a ton of jokes this season, but we had what? She's a liberator of ancient artifacts or whatever. And
Yeah.
she's like, she's a pirate. She's a pirate.
Yeah.
The way that delivery was funny between Omega and Crosshair.
Yeah.
But yeah, liked it. Excited to see who's on the other end of that hologram at the end of the episode.
Who's
Potentially,
Fennec working with?
this could possibly be the tie-in to Ventress. This could also be. She could be also just talking to Hemlock there. Like they usually she could be reporting to because
Could
they've
be.
sent
She
they
could
have
be. She's already been hired by the Empire.
they've already had Cad Bane out there looking for people. Had her looking for people.
I like how they addressed that the Empire is hiring bounty hunters to find
M counts
individuals.
to find M
count.
count. What they call it, M count trackers or M count
Yeah.
prospects or something. So which is interesting because.
Which makes me
Could
think
be
is that-
both M count in the fact that they have a high M count, like Anakin and like hunting down Jedi, like the Inquisitors, or
Yeah.
M count as they're just valuable because for why so far we think Omega is valuable, which is she can handle an M count transfer because of her
Yeah.
blood. So
Which makes
It's
me wonder,
interesting.
is
There are
like
two different
Grogu,
things
for
there.
instance, is Grogu just a similar thing? Was he just another prospect?
well, I feel like he's different than her though because I feel like he has a high M count, and so they want his blood.
Yeah.
Where it feels like at least to my knowledge, my guessing so far feels like Grogu meets Moff Gideon clone. So here's the plan here. We need the Grogu blood to infuse and go in to transfer into Moff Gideon clone and hopefully make a super Jedi, super soldier villain. This feels like the opposite. We have super bad guy who is trying to find the clone that'll work. We have Palpatine,
Yeah.
whose body is too powerful and too strong and too evil and too wicked that his essence destroys the clone bodies, the regular clone bodies, as we've learned in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
And so they're looking for the special. So it feels like there's two different projects, and just one is force abilities. We have the clone in Gideon, or we have Gideon making clones, and we need the force abilities so that we can transfer it. This feels like we have the force abilities. We need the clone to transfer it.
We need a clone.
It feels
need
like reverse,
someone that-
if
We
that
need
makes
some
sense.
DNA that allows for an M count transfer where M counts don't drop off.
Don't
That's
drop
what
off and don't
Omega's-
destroy
That's what
the,
Omega's test was.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was proven
I
to
think
work.
don't drop off and don't diminish or destroy the host
Yeah.
so it can survive.
Yeah, there's a lot going
There's
on
a
with
lot.
this clones. It all comes back to cloning.
All comes back
I've
to
been preaching it
cloning.
for years.
Hey, I was 2 years early, I think, on wait, when did I remember was it Mando that I said we'd see Camino? And we didn't at all. But then
Oh yeah.
season 2 we did. Or was that Boba? In Boba Fett we did. Though just the little flash. Remember in Boba Fett we had the flash of him as a child?
Oh yeah, we had the flash of him.
They didn't actually go to Camino.
Yeah.
And then Bad Batch heard us and said, "Oh, you want to see more Camino? We'll destroy it.
We'll destroy Camino. Oh,
Because
you want Camino?
you
Guess
want
what?
Camino? Guess
Never
what?
again.
Now no one can have it. Thanks
Here-
a lot, Star Wars
Here's why
guys.
Mando and Boba never went there, because it's not there.
It's destroyed.
It's gone.
Yeah.
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 It's fun seeing Fennec Shand again.
I
I like
know.
the bounty hunter. Do you think we'll see more bounty hunters
I
involved
think we'll
in
see
this?
Ventress.
Aside from Ventress?
I think Cad Bane.
You think we will see Cad Bane?
I
That's
think
kind of
we'll
what I
see-
was getting
I think
at.
we'll see Cad Bane again.
No,
I
no
think so.
Dengar, no Bosk.
It'd be great, but Dengar's just got too many bandages on his head.
He does.
He's got too many.
He does.
Not to be a cool character, but too many to find people. I don't know how he's ever been a good bounty hunter when his vision's so limited. It's like a racehorse with the blinders on. You're great running straight forward or running around the track, but if Omega goes to the left,
Think
like
we'll see
you're-
IG,
you're done.
IG-88, any of them? That'd be sweet. IG-88.
I think we'll see him on IG. He posts a lot on Instagram these days.
Who, Fennec? Fennec's posting every catch on every bounty.
Yeah, they're posting. If you've seen this, their explore page is all these missing their For You page.
Proof of the package is just posted.
Post it. Oh, here's before we kind of transition to some Acolyte stuff. Final thoughts on the episode, as far as any favorite moments. Any again, I like. It's funny. I like some of these episodes where it's like, oh, we're gonna get something that's very real world, like a swamp,
I'll be honest. Can I be honest with you?
crocodiles, but it's like they're supposed to be space crocs because they're on a different
Yeah, they're
planet.
space crocs.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Yep.
This was a tough episode to see.
Oh, I heard people saying that. I didn't.
It was
didn't
really
s-
dark.
I didn't really struggle with it. It was dark.
I mean, unless I watch it and I didn't, but I felt like
I heard. Other people
unless
say
I
it too.
watched it in a pitch black room, like where the only light was coming from the screen, it would have
Yeah.
been easier to see. But I mean, I had my brightness all the way up, and I could see, but it was definitely difficult.
It was definitely dark. It was
It's
definitely
more
dark.
difficult than I think. They had another episode that was similar this season that was pretty dark. I think this one was even more difficult.
Are you thinking of the Battle of Winterfell? Remember, it was so dark that people were like,
Yeah,
Well, there were a lot of
they
people who
went and
actually-
edited it.
I know there
didn't
were a
they?
lot of people
Changed
who
it.
legitimately watched the episode, which I didn't. I thought it was hard to see, but there were some people who were literally like, "What happened?" People couldn't see a whole hour of the episode.
Yeah, well, this
because
one
based
felt
on your TV
this,
settings,
this
so it's
felt
really
very
tough.
dark.
Yeah, this was dark. I do like that we got was it Sylar? What's the
Yeah.
the new
Is that his name?
Sylar?
Also, what a I saw this guy
That was cool.
I saw the hologram of this dude at the beginning. Oh, what a dweeb!
I know. I was like,
He
this
started-
guy, and then also
then he
you
went
see him
crazy
and
on
he's
him, started
insane.
jumping all over him, hopping left to right.
It's hanging from the ceilings. It was
Zah!
crazy.
like-
That was cool.
Yeah,
That was cool.
that was cool.
All right, should we transition into
Yeah, any
little bit of-
any predictions for next week before we
my
jump over?
prediction for next week is
find out who was in the hologram
Yeah.
at the end?
yep.
I think we
Wait,
pick
so
up.
so is she's just ratting them out?
That's what I.
She
that's
said
what it
I'll
seems
give
like.
you. Well, she said there's some actually. Yeah, what did? I'm trying to think of her actual quote. She said I'll give you everything I got or something like that.
Who said something about where they are? I'll give you their location or something.
Oh, that was cool. I did see some people pointing out that a cool kind of canon reveal was that Fennec, was it Fennec? No, maybe Fee had said that there's some class 1 bounty hunters who are tracking, who are M count trackers or something like
Yeah.
that the Empire's hired. And I saw some people pointing out that that's a cool addition to the bounty hunter lore that we didn't know, is that they call like they have classes like class 1. And it's
Like
like the
their
best,
rank.
like the best ones.
Yeah.
And I saw, I think it was on Force Center, and they said, I think it was Ken said, so what's Toro Calican? Is he like class 10? Like he's the
He was-
worst.
he
He's the
was-
worst. He
he
puts
wa-
his feet up in Han Solo's
he
seat.
wasn't
He's just
even in.
terrible.
He wasn't even in.
No, he was awful.
He was. He
He just
literally
wanted
started
to
that
prove
episode.
himself.
I just watched it like yesterday. a
Yeah,
couple
he's
days
trying to
ago.
prove himself.
Toro literally wasn't even in the guild. He's like,
He
this
was
is
awful.
my way into the
This is my big
guild.
chance. This is your way to die. Terrible. That was funny though. Yeah, your
Or
class
what?
ones.
Or
Your
even
class ones you gotta have.
Or even what was Mando? I mean, was
Well,
he?
at this time, he
I mean,
didn't
when
exist
he-
yet.
No, but I
He
mean when
existed, but he wasn't.
when he was a bounty hunter.
If the
Was he-
guild is still in classified the same way, you'd have to think he's a class 1, because the way that
I
people
know,
were,
but I don't know.
the people. Although,
You think
It's
he
hard to
was up
say
there as
because-
high as?
well, Fennec was an assassin. And remember, like he couldn't defeat Fennec.
No,
like,
he couldn't.
was.
That's
he
what I'm
was. He
saying.
was basically upset. Like, I can't.
I always
defeat
took Mando as like he was a good
Yeah, he's
bounty
maybe
hunter
like a
because
B.
of the armor and stuff. But I didn't.
it. He
put-
wasn't
I,
Boba.
I never kept him up there with Boba.
He wasn't
and Cad
prime.
Bane
He wasn't
and
prime Boba.
Fennec. I never thought he was that good.
He wasn't Boba. He wasn't probably IG-88.
Yeah, I didn't
he,
take him as being that high. But
Yeah, no, I could see that. Who knows what Dengar is?
he's
he's-
old.
He's up there, but maybe
Anybody that's named from the original trilogy.
they're
That's
up there.
standing next to
Bosk.
Vader.
Bosk is
Any of those people that were standing
yeah.
next
If
to Vader.
if Vader had you part of that like foursome or fivesome of
Yeah.
the elites,
You're probably up
That's-
there.
that's-
Dengar,
you're up
Bosk,
there.
IG-88, Boba Fett.
yeah, you're definitely in the
Yeah.
troop there for sure. All right, should we do it?
Let's do it. Acolyte.
The Acolyte. I actually
This guy's got
screenshot-
notes, this guy.
No, I screenshot a couple things.
This guy's
I
got
wanted to
screenshots,
share.
this guy.
Oh, I got screenshots. That's for sure. First of all, Acolyte trailer finally released. We're excited about it. They confirmed in the trailer, before we get to the actual contents of the trailer, at the very end of it, confirmed 2-episode premiere
Yeah, 2-episode premiere.
on my wife's birthday, Abigail's birthday, June 4th,
June 4th.
the day after Nick's birthday.
How about that?
And
Ain't that something?
first, before I give some extra context and some extra things I found out about it afterwards, overall thoughts on the trailer. What'd you think?
I liked it.
Yeah.
I
Did
liked
you love it? Did you like it? Did you, on a scale of 1 to 10, you're at a what? For the trailer. Not saying just for excitement
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
show,
yeah.
but just on the trailer. What'd you think?
I think my excitement for the show is probably higher than what I thought the trailer was.
Yeah.
Now, I still love the trailer, but part of the reason why I like the trailer was just the nature of the High Republic stuff. Seeing that live action on the show for the first time was cool.
Yeah.
Seeing I can't remember his name, but the Jedi Master talking to the younglings.
Oh, yeah. Squid Game.
By the way,
you know,
sing-
he's
yeah.
the main character, the main actor. in Squid
seeing all of the different. Now, this is one thing I was impressed with on the trailer and for the show. A lot of species.
Game. A lot of species.
They didn't hold out because I know that was a complaint. And like, was it Obi-Wan or something? People were like, "Why are there like not many?"
Well,
It
there's
seemed like they went cheap on like the different costumes and the aliens and
and there's some I think
Different
and
species?
there's different shows. Like I think Andor is like they have like one
Yeah,
or a
like
couple.
one.
Now they didn't go cheap.
that's
They-
just the nature of the
But
Empire.
like I think that they also they wanted the show, I think, too. Star Wars always has a balance between the super serious and gritty and like small rebellion versus an evil empire
Yeah.
where there's murder
Yeah.
and all this stuff. And then also Chewie's like a walking dog. Like there's these things. Can someone get this, fur walking carpet out of my way? So
Yeah.
there's always this really strange. We got Max Rebo, an inflatable elephant playing
Yeah.
playing the band. So I was gonna say, so I think Andor leaned into the side of
more serious, more
we're gonna keep in the same world, so we're gonna show that it's not all human species, but they were like 95% human
Yeah.
species in
Yeah.
that show. They didn't do much of the other.
Also, the nature of the show is they're indoctrinating humans basically
True.
to go work on the Death Star and to go become,
It's true.
join the Empire.
That's true. But you could think they could get maybe get some of Akbar's people in there
True.
too. To
But-
if they can become a general, they can work on the Death Star.
That's a trap. That's a trap.
Yeah.
Or an admiral, I should say. Sorry,
But-
Akbar.
Yeah, I think so. I
So
think
that was cool, though.
that was cool. I liked seeing the different species. I liked the time frame. First live action High Republic stuff that we're seeing. I liked kind of the eeriness of there is a darkness out there that's rising, but we
Yeah.
don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't come off as
Ooh,
much
we have
as
big
like
questions that we have to discuss
a
about.
lot of questions. The witches that they showed.
We have to discuss about the possibility of Sith and dark side users based on what we know in Phantom Menace. Where in Phantom Menace, they're like the Sith have been gone for generations, for thousands of years. Like
Yeah.
I
That's
saw
what I'm saying.
people talking about
Are
this.
these? It feels like
can't
this is
become
different.
Too obvious that there's Sith out there without.
Or even they're not Sith. They're
Yeah.
dark side users,
And
but
now,
they don't follow
there
the
also
Sith
could
code.
there could be Sith out there during. I want to make this distinction too. There could be Sith out there during the show. Really, the important thing is that the Jedi Council is not all in agreement that there's Sith out there
That's
by the
right.
end of the show. There could be Sith because there are things out there.
But
Clearly,
some of them
there's
don't believe it.
clearly Palpatine is working behind the scenes.
Yeah,
well,
Sith and
He's already
Plagueis
he's
has been
already
out
in.
there.
It's
and-
all happened, and this is 100 years before Phantom
Yeah,
Menace. So there's
yeah.
Sith out there. It's just the Jedi have not wised up to it yet.
Yeah,
But so this is going to be interesting to see what are these dark side users. Because we saw the red lightsaber, but it doesn't mean it's necessarily a Sith.
No.
It could be not affiliated with the Sith, but a dark side user somehow.
But and even like the I'm forgetting the names of everybody. I have to go back and look. But even like the witch that they showed is going to be part of it.
That was cool.
So there's probably some other sort of like supernatural force elements to the dark side stuff, like we've seen with like Mother Talzin and the Night Sisters and things like that.
Yeah.
That could play a role in this too. That aren't just like Sith, like dark side force wielders, but instead are kind of this other realm of dark side. So yeah, I'm interested. It seems like there's a lot of, I like it because it feels like for the first time in a while with Star Wars, there's a lot of mystery behind this because it's far enough back that like we don't know the story, we don't know what to expect.
We don't know who lives, who dies.
Yeah, we don't know. And the other thing too I did like about the trailer was the range of character age. It seems like we've got Padawans, we've got
the younglings.
We've got Jedi Knights, we've got Jedi Masters, we've got the younglings. Seems like we have casted characters that are going to go on this journey of this show from all different levels, which is kind of cool to see.
Yeah. No, I agree. My thoughts were pretty similar. I definitely liked the trailer. I liked the trailer. I would say if I had to say maybe compared to other trailers, not just of this or of anything, was I like completely blown away? Was it a
roll it again?
I was going to say, it wasn't the Rise of Skywalker trailer.
It wasn't a Rise of Skywalker trailer. Now, did I expect it to be Rise of Skywalker trailer for me? No. I have a full lifetime of investment into not just Star Wars, but also specifically some of the main characters that are in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, say what you want about the movie, but that trailer was
I watched it again yesterday. I watched both of the first two trailers. I watched the two trailers.
The music,
the
everything.
Well, I watched the first trailer is the Roll It Again, because that's when they actually reveal even that it's the Rise of Skywalker, and it's the Rise of Skywalker. That's no one's ever really gone.
His cackle.
And that was crazy. I probably watched that trailer when it first came out.
I remember
times.
I was in
watched the live
college.
stream of it.
I was in college at the time, and I was sitting in class, and I was waiting for the trailer to drop, and the class hadn't started yet. So I got there a little bit early, flipped up my laptop, watched the trailer, and then immediately I got a text from you that was like, dude, that was insane.
Insane. Roll it again.
Yeah.
So I wasn't expecting it to be that. And again, I think I also still have a special affinity for Star Wars movies too. Not that I'm against the shows by any means. It's just a different thing. They go bigger. I was probably a little more excited, I would say, for the Obi-Wan trailer as well, if you remember us doing our reaction to it.
Yeah.
But again, these are comparing apples and oranges. The reason why I think I was more excited for the Obi-Wan is it's also the return of Ewan McGregor, who I've been waiting 20 years for to do this. Like, this is a new thing. I still really liked it. There was a lot there that I'm like, okay, I like the feel of this. But
there was no expectation.
Exactly. I like the feel of this. I like it felt, I mean this in a positive way, the trailer felt like it was holding a lot of stuff back. Meaning sometimes you'll see a show that, or a movie that's...
They intentionally...
They do some of their biggest stuff.
They intentionally didn't reveal much. They wanted
I think it was... I don't want to say it's intentionally underwhelming, because I think they made a good trailer. But they intentionally weren't like, just wait, you're going to be on your back, because we're showing you some big thing here. There's secrets they're going to keep.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I really liked it. I'm definitely excited for it. I'm really excited for the show. It definitely has more of a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Samurai. Even the way she's fighting with the Force, where she's like the jump kick.
Yeah,
like that's definitely more martial arts than it is than it is maybe
even using the Force to like force
Rey
push
and Kylo fighting each other,
pushing each other back, them pulling knives and like using the Force.
It felt
to,
more like
stop
Shang-Chi.
things.
honestly.
It did.
Right?
It did feel like Shang-Chi a bit.
So I really like that. I like the feel of it. So yeah, I mean, if I was to like rank the trailer or something like that, I would probably be like a 7.5 out of 10, maybe an 8 out of 10. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I definitely liked it. I'm not like, I definitely liked it. And I'm very excited for the show. And we'll get into some stuff if you want to.
Yeah. I know Derpy in the chat said the dialogue has me concerned. He gave the trailer a 6 out of 10.
6 out of
That's
10.
still
fair.
not bad.
That's fair.
That's fair. Yeah.
And again, it's a trailer. A great trailer doesn't mean a show's going to be great. There's some
That's
people
true.
who have had great trailers, and I've gone to see a movie and go, "What was this?" And then there's other
Oh my
times
gosh, yeah.
when
that's
you go-
definitely happened to me. I've seen a great trailer and I
Right?
was like, oh, I'm gonna go see this. And I watched this. I was like, that was nothing at all what I expected. this
no,
movie
it
to
does
be.
nothing at all. Or happens in comedy movies a lot, where you're like a hilarious trailer, and then you go see the movie, you're like, so the funniest lines are all in the trailer.
Listen, have
That's
you
a
ever
bummer.
seen? Have you ever seen Moonfall?
Still haven't seen.
You guys
Moonfall.
remember Lanjo, right? He was in our studio,
I've heard Moonfall's brutal.
dude. I very
Never seen it,
rarely do
though.
I walk out of a movie and I'm like, this was just a bad movie.
I
Usually
heard
I can
Moonfall was really
Usually I
rough.
can find things that I'm like, okay, I got entertainment out of this and that. In this movie, I almost got entertainment because of how crazy it was. The first trailer. Now, if you look up Moonfall trailers, you'll find some that reveal a lot more. But the first trailer they revealed
Yeah.
was literally all about like this sci-fi, something about literally the moon falling and
Yeah.
collapsing with the
I
earth,
remember
and that
what
was
the
it.
trailer was.
That
yeah.
was it. That was the
Yeah.
first trailer. Gave nothing away about what the movie was actually about. And then
Uh-huh.
I walk into the movie. You literally find out that it's all like an alien invasion, and the moon itself is like an alien.
It's the dumbest
It's
thing
like
I've ever heard.
built in. Someone created the moon. Aliens created the moon and built a space station with inside the core of the moon. And they're coming to take over. It was like turned in.
That's
It was like
ridiculous.
every 5 minutes that movie just kept getting crazier and crazier. I was like, this is not at all
That is
what was
crazy.
expected.
So, some of the headlines coming off of the trailer. One, did you see this poster? I like this poster. That poster was kind of cool.
Yeah, that poster was
Oh,
sick.
that was cool.
It looks like we're gonna get some different planets, some different terrain. We're back on Coruscant. It looks like
Coruscant.
Jedi
It
Temple.
looked like the exact same room.
It did look
Basically
like
that
the same
Obi-Wan
room.
and Anakin were training in the Obi-Wan
It
series.
did. It looked like the same room.
Couple headlines because Leslie Headland, the creator showrunner,
What's the
has-
headline?
she's been headlining the news lately. She's had a couple interviews since the trailer release. She can
Yeah.
start talking about this a little bit more. One of them says, the Acolyte will explore the beginning of how the Jedi fell in the prequels. Showrunner Leslie Headland, quote, "What went wrong? And if the bad guys are actually the underdog, that seemed like a cool reversal to me." So she's like, some of it's from the perspective of the bad guys being like, almost like a thing of the rebel. Think of Andor being the beginning of the rebellion.
Yeah.
Or like rebels and
This
or
is the
all that.
beginning of the Sith.
And it's the beginning of the Sith and how it spreads and becomes this dominant thing. So I don't know if it'll be from. I know initially when the show was announced at the Disney investors meeting, they initially announced it as like basically a dark side perspective. I'm not sure if it's quite going to be that.
Yeah, it doesn't. The
It
trailer
feels
didn't
like
seem.
it felt like
The trailer
it
didn't
still
seem
feels
like
like
it's
from-
focusing on the dark side.
no, it felt like this is a show that's going to deal about the rising of the dark side. But
the
that's
focus
focused
is
from
still
our
the-
Jedi who are
the
trying to
Jedi.
solve the
Yeah.
murders that are going on.
It did seem like. I'm glad you said that because it did seem very like murder mystery.
Yeah, a lot of
Someone's.
people talked
They
about,
even said someo's killing Jedi.
yeah, it's
So
an
it
actual
seems like,
it's an,
all right,
investi-
we're gonna
it's an
try and-
investigation.
We're gonna try and figure out what's going on. Here.
So I don't know if that changed in the creative process from when they announced it because they announced it like 3 years ago. So stuff does change kind of when you start doing it. So maybe that perspective changed a little bit. Either way, I'm excited to see some more
Yeah.
dark side stuff. Then we also had a couple of these details. So they announced that it's set 100 years before the Phantom Menace, which we knew. Did not use the volume VFX at all during filming,
Wow.
which I was surprised by based on the
Wow.
trailer.
I'm surprised by that too because it looked
Because
like there
I
was
thought
definitely
that
opportunity.
there was I thought that there was one shot, not that I thought looked bad, but I thought near the beginning of the trailer where it's someone kind of walking up these steps into like a village or like into a little thing that I thought, oh, that kind of looks like maybe that was shot in the volume, but I guess it's not. They said they didn't use it at all.
Wow.
Which
So
also
I wonder,
excites me because
did they say where they shot a lot?
it didn't
of that?
say on this right here, but it says narratively similar to Andor. That sounds exciting.
Does
8
sound
episodes. Now this incorporates some EU and Legends lore. I heard about that.
Okay.
Leslie Headland said, I can't remember
Is
the
it-
name of the character. One High Republic character is revealed in the trailer. And she says this is the only High Republic character that appears in the first season of the show. Quote, I have to save some for season 2. So this is a
Really?
multi-season show they've talked about already.
Wow.
She said I had to save some for season 2. There's a lot more coming in season 2.
High Republic. Wait. So say that again. There's a High Republic.
One
An
High Republic
EU.
character. There's two separate things. EU, there's some EU concepts, I guess, that there's. I think there's a Legends, like a murder
Okay.
mystery Legends thing
Yeah.
that they think they kind of took some
Pulled
ideas
some
from. Some people are like, oh, does that mean like, does that mean Star Killer's gonna be in it, or does that mean
Darth Bane.
Bane or what's
Although we've seen
Republic?
Bane
What's
in
Knights of
Clone
the
Wars.
Republic?
Revan.
Is Revan gonna be in it and stuff like that? And so
Well, Revan's supposed to be Old Republic. That's supposed to be way
no, I know,
earlier.
but that's old. I'm saying if they
Pull
change that,
from that,
if they
yeah.
change that stuff, doesn't sound like it. But pitched as a multi-season show. Now this got some people upset, which I'm interested to hear your take on it, because again, I don't think we should be getting upset about any show before it comes out. But what's your gut reaction when it's announced that the episodes are about 30 minutes long?
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
That's disappointing.
Here's our exact quote.
How many episodes are we getting?
8 episodes, 2 on the premiere,
Yeah, that's not good.
and then we have 6 30-minute episodes after that. So
Why do they keep doing these short shows?
I don't know. So here's the quotes, because I wanted to talk about this with Uncle, so we'll talk about this next time too. Her exact quote, when asked how long the episodes are. About 30 minutes. Yeah, I would say some of them are a little bit longer, like the finale. I think it's 40 minutes. But there are also some that I think are barely 30 minutes. So on average, I would say between 30 and 35 minutes.
That's not good.
I don't like that. Now,
That-
that doesn't mean I
yeah.
won't like the show. I'm sure the show can be fantastic.
No, but
I
those,
just-
like I think
I
when,
do have a feeling towards
when these
some of
Disney
these
shows
yes.
first started coming out, it didn't really bother me that much.
Yeah.
When we had one shorter episode that was a little shorter, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
that was just a little shorter. They filled in the story what they needed to fill in.
Yeah.
But now, I'll be honest, even some of the Mando stuff, when we had
Some
shorter
of them feel
episodes,
too short.
they feel too short. And the reason they felt too short is because I felt like it was lacking story
Yeah.
that needed to be continued.
Yeah.
It wasn't like-
didn't feel like a jam.
it wasn't like, oh, they filled in-
episode.
It wasn't like they filled in this all they needed to do. Like they filled in everything
Yeah.
they were trying to get across in this 30 minutes. There's been times where it felt like that was 30 minutes, and I still feel like we needed more of that story to be told.
Yeah. So I agree. So I
It
am not
felt rushed.
I'm not one to like jump on. We stay pretty positive on here, so we're not jumping on this show's gonna stink because of this. It's just what's my gut reaction to that? It's disappointing, and
And it's not a bad thing. I mean,
no, it could. Be
we're Star Wars
perfect for
fans,
the
so
sh-
we want 2-hour long episodes. I
it
mean,
could
we
be
want as
perfect
much
for the
content as we
episode.
can get.
I will say, I think where it comes off as a bit of a bummer, the episode length sometimes also, is to me, sometimes it makes it feel a little bit like this is not, and I think it should be, premier must-see TV.
No.
And when you go, put it this way, name any other major show that you watch that's not a comedy, because some comedies like a Curb Your Enthusiasm
yeah.
can be 35 minutes long, and that's
Most
what comedy
comedies are.
episodes are. Name a major must-watch water cooler type TV show.
Yeah, you
that's
think
30
about the
minutes
biggest
long.
shows. You think about the Game of Thrones. You think about the Breaking Bad.
Game of Thrones,
Better Call
Sopranos,
Saul.
Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul.
All of
These are
those.
hour
Hour-long.
long,
Lost.
hour.
Hour.
The HBO shows are an hour and they don't even have commercials.
Yeah.
So
they're
that's why they feel
legit
super
hour.
long, is because obviously Disney Plus doesn't have commercials either. But I mean, like Breaking Bad's an hour with commercials, so you're like 43 to
Yeah.
45 minutes every week. HBO's stuff is an hour without commercials. You feel like, dang, I feel like we have a full movie every episode. And then they do like 10 to 12 episodes.
And then some of them are even longer.
Yeah. I'm watching Sopranos right now, and Sopranos is 13 episodes a season, an hour-long episode
Yeah.
each
It
season.
does when you
So when you do 8 episodes,
You
and
do
which I
8
like I
episodes.
like the dual premieres they've been doing, but also it shortens the season.
yeah, it's
so
only 7 weeks.
We now have 7 weeks, and we have the 1 episode at the beginning, or the double at the beginning. Then after that, we have 3 hours. And so I saw someone point this out. And again, I'm not trying to get too negative on this, but this is what I wanted to bounce off of you and Uncle and get your
There's
perspective.
4 hours of it's not even the length of a Lord of the Rings movie.
Yeah, and there's some. So
The whole show.
this is what's interesting to me. I heard some people talking about this, and at first I was I was listening to a YouTube show where they were talking about this a little bit, and at first I wanted to push back, and then I kind of thought of it and was like, there's maybe some truth to it. So I don't like that it feels like the Disney Plus shows feel a little bit less than some of these others. I know they put a ton of money into it. Andor was longer. Andor felt bigger because of that, I think.
Yeah.
Like the
I
episodes
agree.
were longer. And
I
because
agree.
of that, it kind of felt more important also.
It does. I
Um,
get what you're saying. It definitely, when they're shorter, feels like it's not a priority must watch.
And
It
here's the
feels-
thing that's
it feels
important.
less than.
Here's the thing that I had heard people talking about, and at first I was not sure how I felt about it, but I think there's something to it a little bit. That when this is coming from someone who's a big fan of just about every show they've done. Some I love more than others, but there hasn't been a show that they've done live action or animated yet that I've seen that I'm like, not for me. I don't like the show. There's some I like. Again, I think some of the lows of Boba Fett are maybe lower than even the lows of season 3 of Mando. I think are maybe on par with some of the lows of Boba Fett, because I think the highs of Boba Fett are huge and the highs of Mando 3 are huge. But some of the episodes that feel a little bit less than, there are, when they do this Disney Plus format of 30-minute episodes, this is what people had I heard some people bring up, is that they don't feel necessarily like they were written for television. They feel like the story was written for a movie that they tried to stretch out into break into 30-minute episodes to make it a certain length for TV.
Yeah.
But the disconnect sometimes is that a Breaking Bad, a Sopranos, a Better Call Saul, anything. The show, the episode is a one after the next, continuous. It's a building plot line, a big story. Sometimes it ends on cliffhanger, sometimes it doesn't. It picks up, and there's a big driving plot. It's not just the episode of the week each time, which I think these Star Wars shows definitely drive the plot forward. There's a consistent thing. But what those shows do have is, even in an individual episode, they have structure where there's a beginning, a middle, and end. There's these kind of that episode. Even if the end is not a wrapped up conclusion of the plot.
No,
there is a feeling to the episode where there's some. I do think there are some, not every one of them, but there are some episodes of some of the shows. I think in particular, maybe with some of the recent season of Mando, that for me there was something about it that felt missing a couple in some of the episodes, where it feels like I'm worried about the time because, like you said, I feel like, oh man, I feel like we haven't experienced a ton of either plot moving forward or character development in this, where it feels like,
and we got 5 minutes left.
It feels like, well, dang, that was an episode that I'm not eager to just go back and rewatch right away, because it feels like there wasn't a ton gained. Not that they're wasted episodes, but I feel like there are some episodes when it's that short that it's like, man, if this is not super tightly written 30 minutes here, where we're not having a lot of fluff or side quest type of stuff, then you get 4 episodes in and you get to, man, we're already halfway done with the show. Or like some of the show open with 6 episodes or something, where it's like, man, we're really, and then you feel a little antsy yourself, because you're like, oh man, I hope that we can wrap this up, or I hope that we can still have enough to get to this
Yeah.
character beat, or I hope that in Obi-Wan we'll get a little bit more mention of Padme, or like
Yeah.
we end up not getting some of that stuff because they kind of go in a different direction
Yep.
where they spend longer
Yep.
on stuff. So again, not to be too negative on this, but this is something I wanted to talk about. Was is confirmed, and quote from her, about 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
She said the finale's maybe 40, and said, but some of them are barely 30, which makes me think that they're less. Some might be less than 30.
Which means
And
which
also,
means 30 with credits.
with credits, we're talking like 25 minutes. So
That's really short.
again, I
mean, that's shorter than Bad Batch. Bad
Yeah.
Batch is 25 minutes.
so
It's about the same
for me, again, more does not mean better. A longer movie doesn't mean it's a better movie. But also, I've always been a fan of the long movies are done really well. Are some of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
The Godfather, Lord of the Rings, Dune,
Dune.
Part 2. Like, a long movie that's really well done can be fantastic. Also, a short movie, Knives Out's like 90 minutes long, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, again, there's ways you can do it short, you can do it
Yeah.
long. I'm just going based off the track record that of recent shows, or of the recent Disney Plus shows, that I've even really enjoyed and really liked. Probably more than most people on the internet. That I do read this headline and go, oh, it like immediately like, give me.
Dang.
I wish it was 10 to 15
Yeah.
minutes longer. Not even an hour. If she had said 45 minutes piece,
Yeah.
it just feels like a lot more story, a lot more character development. But again, who knows? We could watch this and we could say this is the best thing we've seen, and we could say that it was the perfect length. That's my gut.
I mean,
reaction right
I'm
now.
sure I'll
We'll
still
see.
like the show.
Oh
but
yeah, this doesn't make
the
me
length,
say anything
the
about whether I
length
like
is
it or not.
the length is a bummer.
The length-
I
the
like
length's a
more.
bummer.
I want more.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's all. So that's again not to be too negative on that, but it's become a thing that people have talked about as soon as it was announced. This video headline. This video headline, Nate. The Star Wars The Acolyte to have the pathetic 30 to 35
That's
minutes.
hilarious.
So
well,
again, I'm not that negative on it. It's just a little bummer on the time.
it's too bad.
And then maybe as we're starting to kind of wrap up the episode here, our podcast episode, one other thing about the trailer. This upsets me. Not about the contents of the trailer, but of the reception of the trailer. Did you see the headline? And I screenshot it. That the Acolyte trailer now has more dislikes than likes on YouTube.
Really?
That people are hating it. And what's interesting is the people that I've seen online who are usually the more negative towards the current Star Wars
Yeah.
stuff, I didn't hear any hatred from them. I heard kind of meh. Like I heard kind of like, eh. So which is fine. I understand that. Again, I told you it didn't blow me away. I thought it was
Yeah.
good. But the people, it's just always rough that there's people that are this that are not just that dislike that much, but are like this outspoken about disliking it before it even starts. I kind of just hope that again, there's nothing in that trailer to me that I disliked. It was more of just there could have been even more in it that I
Could have
loved,
been more. Yeah.
you know? So I'm a little worried that people are already starting to try to turn on this show before it even comes out, which I always don't judge it based on a trailer.
No, I'm just gonna wait until I see it.
Yeah. And I'm
Wait
I'm
until I
really
see it.
excited for it. I still think it's going to be one of the best things they've.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's one of the best things they've done.
I'm
The only
excited for
other,
the High Republic.
Yeah. The only other
So-
announcement is they announced the time. We're going back to the Obi-Wan time of the release. Not in the middle of the night. We're going 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time,
Yeah,
9 p.m. Eastern. So we're going 8 p.m.
Seems like
Central
they've
for
been
us.
doing that recently. Yeah.
So they're going back to going to that. So that'll be exciting because it's just it's easier to watch
Yeah.
versus waking up at 2 a.m. and going.
Yeah.
"Oh,
No,
do
'cause I
watch?"
gotta watch it as soon as it
You
comes
gotta
out.
watch it.
I know.
So
Well-
I'm really excited about it. I'm excited to talk about it more with Uncle next week when he's back.
Yeah.
And we can maybe even have more discussions, get his thoughts.
We'll
on the
talk
length-
more
on the
about Uncle
length,
Light. Or
all
Uncle
that
Light.
stuff.
We'll talk more about Uncle Light. We'll talk more
Uncle
about
Light.
Acolyte and get Uncle's opinion and perspective on things too next week.
Yeah, it's but we're excited. June, it's coming around
Yep.
the corner.
I'm excited for it. I can't wait. So
I'm very
It's good.
excited. And I did think the one shot where it was like the ground.
Oh,
bursting
yeah,
with
that was
all
cool.
The Jedi flying
that
back.
was cool.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I'm excited
That's
to see
an
that
example
play
of.
out.
I feel like they're like we've got a lot here that we
They were hiding.
We could have shown that exact thing and shown it 1 second longer, and not and shown more of who it was, but they're not trying to do that.
Yeah, they're not
Again,
revealing
I'm not
that
saying
stuff.
that means it's going to be Plagueis
Yeah.
or something, but I think they're trying to really keep a wrap on
Yeah.
the identities of some of the villains or just even what they're about, how they work. So
Yep.
I think it's going to be cool.
I'm excited.
Very cool.
I'm excited. Can't wait. I think it's gonna be great. But yeah, there you have it.
There
There you have it. Another episode of Star Wars, guys. If you made it this far, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you for the support. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, tell a friend about us here at Star Wars Guys, and smash the notification bell. Hopefully, Uncle's feeling better, and we'll get him back on the cast next week. But until then, have a good one, and may the Force be with you.
Roll it again.
Boba Fett. I miss Boba Fett show. I want to go back to the Boba.
I need to go watch that
That's
Rancor go
great.
crazy
I
again.
want to see them mods.
The mods. Still can't believe we got
See
those
those bikes.